Rugby World Rankings, folks, for the 13th of Feb 2023. We've had a top of the table clash in the Six Nations, and it's resulted in absolutely no movement for anybody. We're going to go through the Rugby World Rankings pretty quickly, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. I should say some of the teams have exchanged points, which is not enough for anybody to take anybody else's spot. So things have changed without kind of changing a heck of a lot. But yeah, we'll go through it when you guys can let us know your thoughts. So obviously, Ireland hosted France at the weekend in that Six Nations game. Whoever won it was going to take number one spot or retain number one spot, and it was the latter that happened. So Ireland, 91.33, that is their lead over France, 89.38. So Ireland are up from 90.70, so they've extended their lead a wee bit further, and they are now the only team in the 90s. So clearly the number one team in the world. Before it was less than a point between them. But now there's a wee bit more. So well done, Ireland. Clearly the number one team in the world. How does that sit? Enjoying the recognition of kind of job well done? Or does it add a little bit of unwanted pressure? Or do you just not care? France down, as I said, a little bit from 90.09 to 89.38. But still fairly comfortably ahead of New Zealand. Still within a point now. But yeah, still second in the world. New Zealand and South Africa, very, very close between them, a third and fourth, but obviously no change with them not playing. And the Scots and England both took points with their victories. Scotland away in Wales. Didn't take much because Wales are ranked a fair bit below Scotland at this point, but up from 83.06 to 83.36. So marginally closing that gap down to the Springboks, but it's still a number of points between those two sides. So 4 and 5 is a big old gap. And then England up from 82.15 to 82.27 with their victory over the Italians. It kind of speaks well to the way the Italians have been doing in the fact that England at home were able to take any points off Italy. In recent times, Italy's been that far down the world rankings that the gap is too big for teams to take any points off them, especially when Italy's playing away. So in a way, that's kind of, that's kind of kudos to Italy for a recent job well done, if you can call it that. Australia still there in 7th and Argentina 8th. No changes, obviously. Wales down slightly from 78.02 to 77.73. Very, very marginally ahead of Japan. That's why I got Japan's jersey hanging in the background, because there's very little between those sides now. And we will get to the possible permutations for the next round of the Six Nations in a minute. But yeah, it's not much of a gap. So Japan, Samoa, Italy, 75.83 down from 75.95. Like I said, they lost some points at Twickenham, which is a bit unusual, but yeah, speaks to them doing recently pretty well. Georgia, Fiji, Tonga, Spain. Other World Cup teams who aren't on the board, you've got Uruguay in 17th, Romania 20th, Namibia in 21st, and Chile, I believe, is the lowest ranked in 22nd at the moment. It wasn't just the Six Nations teams that were in action this weekend, though. You also had Georgia beating the Netherlands. Georgia's obviously going to beat the Rugby World Cup. They beat them 40 points to 8 away from home, so pretty comfortable. And Romania away in Belgium, 56-5 away winners there as well. So two of those World Cup teams getting big old wins. So that's pleasing for those sides. How are things looking to potentially play out in a fortnight's time when we get a chance to see the Six Nations teams get back in action? Well, Ireland are away to Italy. Ireland are going to take nothing if they win. The points gap is just too much between them and Italy. So, yeah, nothing doing for Ireland extending that lead at the top. But Italy, being so far behind, can take major points if they win. They'll get 2 points for a small win, or if they get a 16-point or more win, they'll take 3 points off Ireland. So they could jump up a couple of spots, but yeah. Ireland's been a tricky team to beat in recent times, just to put it mildly. Wales against England is a fascinating one because Wales are too far behind Argentina to pass them if they win, but they could potentially fall behind Japan if they lose at home to England in a couple of weeks. So that would not be a great look for the Welsh side. So they'll be looking to win. England could pass Scotland if they win, depending on how the Scottish result goes. But yeah, I don't think they're going to fall behind the Australians. I think it's Maybe it depends on the margin. I can't remember. The last one, France and Scotland. France will get a very marginal gain if they win. Nowhere near to get enough close to the Irish up the top. And Scotland can't go up to South Africa. Obviously, the gap is too much. The most you can take is like 3 points in one game. And they wouldn't even take that because the teams are too close. But they could make France drop down to like 4th if they got a win, I think, in France. So happy days, folks. It's all going on with the Rugby World Rankings. So you've still got Ireland as your top side. What do you guys reckon? They are looking the business at the moment. France, maybe that loss is going to do them some good in prep for a World Cup. What do you guys reckon? Scotland, are they a dark horse at this point, or are they more than a dark horse? Because, yeah, man, they had a pretty good couple of opening rounds of their campaign in the Six Nations. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts. Did you know I got a Patreon? If you want to check out the Patreon page, down in the description, do a few extra vids there, talking about the predictions and the Super Rugby pools and the results and any other kind of news which doesn't go on the YouTube channel proper. But, yeah, check that out down in the description, folks. Let us know your thoughts on the rankings, and, yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Yeah.